Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chaz, and this is the JJK Chronicles, a Jujutsu Kaisen podcast. Introduce yourself.
Okay. Thanks for the really great introduction to me. I'm Ronny. Sitting alongside my terrible co-host here. I've got a bit of an allergic reaction going on. My eyes are a little bit itchy.
From what?
Your bullshit.
Oh, wow. I figured it was my cat since you've got pussyitis.
But don't worry, I popped a couple bennies before I came over here, and it should be subsiding any second now.
And we're covering Season 1, Episode 24 of Accomplices.
We sure are, yeah.
Or not the show Accomplices, that's what the episode is called.
The finale.
Finale.
Season 1. We made it.
We did. It's been a long journey.
It has been a long journey.
It's took about 20-something weeks to cover it.
Is that right?
I don't know. We've done about one a week, so I would assume, right?
Well, I don't know. That's a pretty bold assumption of you.
About 19 or 20 weeks. I feel like it took us to cover it, and we're here. We're finally here. It's been a great ride, and this podcast has been fun, man. It sucks that we're quitting the podcast after this.
Yeah, this is it. Last one.
Yep. Better make sure it's good.
We've been going for about a year now. Our podcast hosting site hit me up, said, hey, your credit card's changed. We're going to shut everything down. And I just deleted the email. I said, I'm not worried about it. No way you're squeezing those $108 out of me. I am too without funds at the moment.
It used to be 100. Inflation's already hit.
Inflation's crazy, yeah.
Wow. Well,
it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, do we even cover this, or is this our goodbye?
It's just a 3-minute goodbye from out of nowhere. We did 23 out of the 24 episodes.
No, I mean, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff. We've got a lot planned, okay?
Yeah, don't be fooled.
We have got a lot planned. We're talking about Chainsaw Man. We're talking about Attack on Titan Part 2.
Now, we will say, for anyone who doesn't make it to the end of the episode, we can talk about this a little bit later, right at the end. I will say, I think after this one, we've got one more learn a little something about Ronnie and Chaz that can be posted next week sometime. But after that, I think we're going to take a little breather, maybe a 3-week break, something like that, maybe a month. And I've got some ideas for what we can cover until the next show. But that's kind of what we're thinking right now.
Yeah, we're going to really be planning during that time.
Because we've gone every week for more than a year. So we're just going to take a little break. You've been so bad lately. It's usually you kind of do this thing where you'll have a bad episode and then you come back with a really good episode. It's been bad for a while now, so we've just got to reset.
No, I don't know about that. I've just been gaming a lot. I've been really focusing on that, but I feel like my attention will be fully onto this during the break, and we will get everything rolling. We're going to be coming in hot.
All right.
Okay? So, hey, we're coming in hot.
I love that.
Well, I am. I hope you are, too.
You know I'm coming in hot.
All right.
I'll come in hot today.
Well, speaking of coming in hot, we've got Nobara and Itadori.
Well,
okay?
You want to ask me what I thought about this episode?
What'd you think about this episode?
Okay, you ready? I hated it.
Really?
I did not like this episode.
Wow. I will say it's one of the weaker episodes. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it was great. But there was a few parts that I did enjoy in the episode.
But to make things a little more interesting, I'm getting ready to blow your mind. All right? Because I was kind of watching this episode. I was a little let down by the finale. It just wasn't really grabbing me. And it wasn't even one of those things. Some shows, they do the penultimate episode. It's the finale. And then the next one's kind of setting things up, kind of wrapping things up for the season. I didn't feel like last episode was that either. I felt like we were just kind of in a weird spot to leave this. I will say this. The last 5 minutes of this episode were very good. But to make things a little more interesting, let me grab my notes real quick.
Whoa, no way. You handwritten them? Let's freaking go. Yes, the page turn is back. Ronaldo style.
Ronnie's got some handwritten notes, ladies and gents.
Did you do all of them handwritten?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Like that?
Shit handwriting, too. I love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not doing the notes right if they're not shitty written notes.
So you ready to get into this?
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
All right. Well, since you didn't really ask my opinions on the episode.
Well, you are hosting it, so.
I thought Nobara did very well this episode.
Nobara was badass.
She looked good, did good,
Well,
and there's some cool moments that she did. But I will say that I feel like we are in a weird spot here. It was almost like this is like a semi-setup for next season, but then at the same time, they were trying to do a little arc during it.
Let's throw caution to the wind. What do you say about that? Let's do this a little different. I want to ask this right up front, because I don't know if I missed something. Usually I'm very immersed. We got yelled out for not being immersed, so I fully immersed myself. Did we know that these guys that were going to fight for the first 14 minutes of the episode were the test tube monsters?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Yeah, because they got fed to the humans, and then that's how they came into form.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Before they saw them later in the episode?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I mean, because Mahito was feeding him to it, and then as soon as he fed it, it showed Humpty Dumpty. That's what I call the green one, is Humpty Dumpty. It showed Humpty Dumpty was formed from when he fed that human, the test tube subject.
Humpty Dumpty, is that the orange guy's brother?
Yeah, with the green guy. You know what I'm
He's
talking?
not green.
He's got like one of them's green. He's got a face above his mouth.
He's like bluish purplish.
No, dude, you're colorblind, bro.
No way. You're talking about Scary Mouse Ghostfaced.
Scary Mouse Ghostface, a.k.a. Humpty Dumpty, 100% came into form after he was fed to the human by Mahito.
Okay.
Now, the other guy, maybe I just assumed he was because he was with Humpty Dumpty. But yeah, technically the other guy wasn't shown coming into form.
All right, but then I'm confused because as we come to find out, Scary Mouth Ghostface, Humpty Dumpty, they made a comment about how he wasn't a curse, he was a human because obviously he was fed to that guy or whatever. So what does that mean for, as I called him last episode, Jujutsuka?
Jujutsuka?
Yeah, Orange Man.
Yeah, I'm guessing they found another human and they fed his test tube to him. Same way, but they just never showed that one. That's why I kind of get what you're saying. We didn't really show... They never showed that, but I just assumed since he was with Humpty Dumpty, he was fed to someone too.
Okay. All right.
And then obviously there's a third one as well, and I guess they did the same thing with him.
That's fine. I mean, the Scary Mouse Ghostface is... maybe that one was on me. I guess I missed that. I don't find that guy to look particularly interesting, which is why he has a boring name like... Scary Mouth with Ghostface. I do like Humpty Dumpty more. I'm going to transition to that. Good work by you. But the whole time, I guess if I knew that like the orange guy, the problem with him was, or like he came from Mahito in them, that would have been one thing. But the whole half of it, I was like, who the fuck is this guy and why do I care? That's how I sat through it.
Hey, you're telling me you didn't cry when him and his brother, what happened to them? I'm not going to spoil or anything, but...
No. I did not.
No, I totally get what you're saying. To me, this was only to show how badass that our group members are. Like, the enemy was like nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just felt like very... And this is fine. People entertain. When we set out to the podcast, what we were looking for... It's stuff that has a little bit more meat on the bones. This is just, you should be watching Power Rangers.
This is a little side quest. These characters aren't important. They're little, Mahito did his little thing. This is his little minions that, shouldn't even have a name. And they get killed instantly. Like, that's what it seems like to me. Which I don't mind. Like, occasionally I can get an episode or two of it. Hopefully there's not, like, several more episodes like this, but I don't mind an episode or two, but it being the season finale is where it's a little weird.
All right. Well, we can get into it.
But yeah, how about you pay attention to the damn show and know that Humpty Dumpty was shown before or so?
Well, make him look more interesting.
You're telling me this guy's not interesting?
No, he's just a boring monster.
Well, what about the other guy?
The other guy I'm intrigued by.
We start off...
But I didn't know where he came from. He's just an orange guy.
What do you call him? Do you remember his name?
They say his name, but I'll tell you the truth. I was in a bit of a crabby mood when I watched this episode.
Well, we start off with Face Back Man. I didn't know what else to call him, so that's what FBM.
Is your mom bowling upstairs?
She does not. My mom is definitely not loose today. I don't know.
She sounds like she's either bowling or building a birdhouse. Right upstairs.
Well, she does try to build birdhouses.
There's a lot of banging, a lot of could be hammer to nail sort of sounds coming from up there.
She's fine. Don't worry about her.
Fantastic.
Itadori and Nobara realize, though, that they can't touch his blood. So, they're in the midst of battle. Obviously, when you get blood squirted at you, you don't want to touch it. And then when the blood squirting at you is steaming, you definitely don't want to touch it.
It takes it to another level.
Yeah. And I've had blood squirted at me multiple times in my life, and never once have I touched it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that.
Speaking of blood squirting, this is actually a very interesting fact about me. I am terrified, absolutely terrified of getting, or not even terrified. I just hate the feeling of my own heartbeat. Whenever I get blood pressure done, how it squeezes around your arm and you can feel your heartbeat.
All right, this is weird.
You can feel your pulse in your arm.
Sure.
Hate it. That's like my biggest thing. Like when I go to the doctor, I'm like, I look forward to everything else besides that.
That's weird. That's weird.
Is it weird?
I think so, yeah. I've never heard that before.
Like I'd rather get injected with something. Like shoot me in the arm with a needle.
You would rather get, of course you would, okay?
Not that. You know what I mean? Like just a normal doctor checkup shot. I would much rather have that than my blood pressure taken. Fucking hate it. But yeah, that's because you feel your own blood. I don't like it. I don't like my own heartbeat. Like get
we
out
also,
of here.
Speaking of blood, one of our legendary arguments was you had thought that. Now keep in mind this doesn't necessarily apply for girls, but for guys, without any sort of fatal wound, we're 25. You seem to think that as much as you bled over your lifetime.
Yep.
If you put all that amount together, it would equate to more than 1.5 gallons of blood.
Well, I think you're exaggerating the argument now.
Really?
It was a gallon, not 1.5 gallons.
Well, it was definitely started as 1.5 gallons, but that's fine. I still don't think you've done more than 1 gallon.
I've definitely bled more than 1 gallon.
Well, I don't think you can say definitely. You can
I
say
think I could, man. I really think I could. I've had a few nosebleeds in my life. I've had a few. I wouldn't even say paper cuts. I would say more like double paper cuts, where you get like sliced by a paper cut twice. Had a few of those. What else have I had?
All right. So far we're at a few nosebleeds and paper cuts. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of. That's a large gallon.
One time I had to get stitches in my knee when I was a little kid. Fell on the in the fun house. You know how it's like metal barrings.
How many stitches do you have to get?
2. So that was a lot of blood.
Yeah,
that came
a lot
out.
of blood was coming out. How old were you again?
8.
Yeah, bunch of blood coming out of that 8-year-old body of yours that 2 stitches could cover up.
What else?
Mm-hmm.
I have ate some things in my life where when I duty, some blood came out.
Okay, all right.
It's either that or Taki.
Probably go to the
Taki flakes. I don't really know.
We decided that was Taki dust. So yeah, when you run down your list of bleeding events, I feel even more confident that you've not.
What about giving blood?
More than 1 gallon doesn't count.
Okay, good, because I've never given blood. So.
Yeah, this is natural blood loss from cuts, injuries, stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say it's about 1 gallon. It's about 1 gallon.
Yeah, you're wrong. Everyone, let us know what you think. Tell me I'm right.
All right. So this guy, the backface guy, he's got spider blood claws. Okay, that we know nothing about this guy. He's just got cool power. This is definitely a Power Rangers villain. You're right. You're so right.
Yeah.
And now he wants them to run away so he can see their back while they run, because he's so angry that they saw his back. And this is exactly like in part 4 of JoJo's, we had one of the stands that Rohan Ishibe got on his back, and he had to hide his back from everyone, or he would die if they saw his back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's just such a funny thing that your back is that ugly, you know?
That was your allotted 10 seconds of JoJo talk this episode. I don't want any more of it.
Well, I'm sure the fans want a lot more because
Nope.
Rohan Hishibe is an amazing
you
character.
already had your 10 seconds. Move on.
Itadori picks up the slow lady, who is Nobara. Obviously, she's not fast enough. She's a chick, and he zooms off with her.
She's pretty fast. She's just not.
Well, tell her to race me.
Well, she's.
Tell her to race me. That's all.
She would race you. She'll race you.
Okay. And he zooms off with her, and he's just got incredible speed. He takes it to like lightning speed, is what I like to call it. Probably going about 70 miles an hour. Is what it looks like. But even the spider blood claws, they start catching up. But he gets right past him, and that guy's like, "Whoa, this guy's actually pretty legit." I'm not gonna say that. Terrible note. I was gonna say, does this make any?
No, I would love for you to say it.
Itadori is the Saddam Usain Bolt of the anime.
All right, moving on.
He then pushes Nobara. They finally get to safety, and they're standing there talking, and then all of a sudden he feels something from behind, so he pushes Nobara out of the way, while Humpty Dumpty jumps out of nowhere and just spurts a mouthful of blood all over Itadori.
Yeah, and Itadori says, "Oh, they must have taken the shorter route," which led me to a bunch of questions. One, what?
No idea what he's talking about there.
2, if there was such thing as a shorter route, why did you not take it? But 3, there's no way there was a shorter route. He ran in a straight line. I don't like this line. How the fuck did these guys get here?
Where was Humpty that entire time? That's what I'm wondering. You know what I mean? It was like Humpty knew they were going to run there, so he already ran there before they even started going.
But Backface, Backstreet Back Tonight, he was there too, right?
He wasn't there yet. He was on his way. Because then the blood things come.
Okay.
So yeah, he was slightly behind him, but if he was running that fast, how did he catch up? I don't know. Yeah, because then he gets his spider blood claw that hits Nobara right in the arm, and takes off her like sleeve, shows off her nice smooth skin.
Yep. Stop being weird.
Is there something weird about that?
Yep. Definitely.
But the good thing is though, they start talking, and the blood's not necessarily going to kill them. They would basically have to bathe in the blood for it to kill them.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We've got that under control. It can be extremely painful this way, but as long as we don't bathe in it, we're fine.
But
when's the last time you've taken a bath?
The last time I've taken a bath.
You are a long creature. The idea of you in a bathtub makes me giggle.
Probably 10 years old. And that was when...
10 years old.
Yeah. The last time I've taken a bath is when I broke my arm and I had to take baths because I couldn't be in the shower with
That's
my
the
cat.
last time you filled up a bathtub.
Yep. I mean, I've been in hot tubs. I've been in jacuzzis. I've been in, pools, swimming pools where I've, sat there kind of like a bathtub. But I haven't been in a bathtub and, sat down and, whatever you do in a bathtub, drink wine. What do you do in a bathtub? What is, the proper... when you take a bath above the age of, 18, what are you supposed to do in there?
Well, so for me, the only time I would take a bath is if I am just really sick. My nose is really stopped up.
So, every other week?
Well, not anymore. My nose is doing quite good ever since I got the surgery. Thank you for asking.
Your septum does look a lot better.
Thank you. Looks pretty not as deviated. I think it's growing back into the deviated form, though. Sometimes it keeps me up at night, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, and then I always had this friend who he had a single mom. His father had passed away. Rip, Bill. And her favorite thing to do would be at 8:30, we would be downstairs watching TV, and she would insist on saying, "Okay, guys, good night, I'm going to take my bath." And we would always laugh at it. And I believe she was reading a book and drinking wine. So you're not wrong.
She was a nice looking lady, wasn't she?
No.
No?
No.
No?
She was just a little bit older. I mean, she was a lovely woman.
Wow, a little bit older. Ronnie doesn't like older women, so all the older women on this pod, there you go. Don't have a chance with Ronnie. He's a sexist against older women.
All I'm saying is if you're above the age of 57, the odds are...
Oh, yeah, when you were in high school, that guy's mom was 60 years old.
They were older. And it wasn't in high school, it was after high school. Thank you. Okay? Oh. Do you know my friend? Do you know her mom? Hey, why are you... Oh, so you're not into old parents, huh? You're not into old parents?
Into old parents.
Anyone who's in high school, it's weird if they've got old parents. They've all got to be your age.
Your mom is a lovely lady. I am into older parents.
Well, she is a lovely lady. Don't talk about her right now, though. Okay? These were older people. What are you trying to flip it around on me? How about you, Mr. Oh, if you're in high school, your parents should be late 40s. Okay, or else your parents
let's talk about,
are not right.
Well, I want to talk about you taking baths, because obviously you take a lot of them the way you talked about it. What do you do in the freaking bath?
I take a bath.
I know, because I'm sick, but what do you do in there?
You just lay there.
You just lay in the bath?
It's when you feel really bad.
That has got to be...
You get the warm water. Oh, wow, because you're too fragile in the brain to be alone with your thoughts?
No, I like being alone with my thoughts, but being alone with my thoughts, butt naked in water, seems a little weird to me. You think I'm just going to what? Oh, I'm just going to have my wiener out in water?
Oh, do you like alone? A hot tub?
Yeah, my wiener's not out. Got something over it. Do you take a bath with a freaking
Well, my wiener's out in the hot tub. You know why? Because I wear loose-fitting bathing suits. It likes to float. Sometimes it'll kind of meander over here. Sometimes it's over there. But you wear your uncomfortable. You wear a Speedo underneath your bathing suit to keep everything nice and tight, even though there's nothing getting out anyway.
It's just so small. It's just like basically inside me. But speaking of small wieners, I do got a quick story. Should I tell the story later or should I tell it now?
Are you telling the story about how I was naked in a hot tub with multiple good-looking women?
Well, that never happened, so I'm not going to tell that story. This story is about me going to the doctor and having a small... So any guy that's ever gone to the doctor, if you ever go to the doctor and you have to get, a physical, you got to get looked at down there, there's just no way that you should have an erection. To me, I am the smallest I could ever be when I'm at the doctor and they're checking. Oh,
yeah, little buddy's, he's trying to climb back into his hidey hole.
So I was about 19 years old. I had a slight injury down there. Basically what had happened was I had worn boxers and I went for a long run and my boys got jangled around a lot and they got a little irritated and I was like, I better go get this checked out just to make sure everything's all right. So I went up front to the doctor's office, just nice looking 20-something-year-old lady, and I was thinking, wow, she's pretty attractive. And she's like, here you go.
Hope she won't be touching my balls this afternoon.
Hopefully she won't be touching me. And then my doctor ended up being a woman, an older woman, not good looking.
Oh, older woman that's not good looking, really? Oh, so you can't... Sorry, everyone, if you're an older woman, you can't be good looking and you can't...
Well, if you're a doctor and an older woman...
You're welcome to touch Chad's balls, except not, because he's getting ready to tell the story about how he got a boner when he had scraped up balls and his granny was touching him.
So... The woman, she's like, oh, here you go. Here's your doctor, whatever, blah, blah. And I was like, dang, I wish she was touching my balls. But not really, because I was like, I'm going to be tiny. Glad she's not touching me. I go in the back. This lady's like, all right, so what's the problem? I tell her the problem. She's like, all right, pull him down. And she's like, but...
She didn't say it like that.
Get him down, boy.
She was not like that.
She was like, please take those off. No, she said, all right, I got to get somebody else. Since I'm a woman, I've got to get somebody else in here to observe the situation, to make sure nothing illegal happens.
Is that so?
So she goes and grabs the attractive lady from up front. And I am like, are you fucking kidding me?
Wait, what?
Yes. There has to be an observant. If you... if you're getting a physical from a female doctor, there has to be an observant there to make sure nothing illegal is happening.
Is that so?
And it was the attractive lady up front, closer to my age, and I was like, no,
she's just there along for the ride.
She's just there to look at... She is not even touching my thing to make sure I'm good down there. She's just looking at my thing.
She's just sizing you up.
I'm not even kidding, just staring at it.
Making
and I'm
sure
like,
no
this
funny
is so...
business.
I could see her smile when she walked
She
in.
wasn't just staring at it.
Oh, she was staring at how small that thing was. I guarantee you.
She was not.
Let me finish the story.
She was very professional.
So when she walked in, she had a little smirk on her face, like she was laughing.
Oh, please.
Not in a good way. You think I'm saying it in a good way. She was laughing like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing for that guy. Pull him down. I am so tiny. Like, it is unbelievable how tiny this thing is. And I had not shaven in maybe a year. So
that's the worst.
So I've got bush on bush plus tiny makes you look even smaller.
Yeah,
you got
really
a bush
does.
makes you look smaller. So I just know she's laughing behind me. She's standing behind me. I just know she is. And then
Now she's standing behind you.
she has got a back view of my thing.
And
So
now
this-
she's just looking at your asshole.
No. I am sitting down on the table with my dick down. If that makes my dick's up.
Your
'cause
dick
it's
down while you...
Okay, I'm sitting down like on the edge of a table, and my pants are being taken off by this lady. Or actually, I took my own pants off. Why would she do that? And she's observing my testicles.
Genitals.
Yes, and she's like moving them around, and it's like real uncomfortable. She's
Making
like,
sure all
"Oh,
the connections are
she's
right.
like, oh, you've got this. It's chlamydia, blah blah." She keeps talking, and then she's checking those out. The girl's behind me. She's observing to make sure nothing's happening, and she's
What
got
is this? Well, I'm
full
confused
view of
about
my
this
dick.
this middle of the room seat that you had. Like, how is there...
Well, but when I mean
are
behind,
they
she's like
examining-
over my head, kind of, and basically just
How close is this woman?
that's what I'm saying. It was the most awkward thing ever. And she's just like, good God, this guy has got bush on bush. I know she was thinking that. She's like, this guy's tiny. And it just was so awkward because she was, around my age. And that was basically all I was going to say is,
So how about the double standard that you're telling me if you have a guy doctor, we don't have to have a second person in there?
I'm not a female. I don't know. Like when you get,
No, I'm saying like even for guys.
oh yeah. Because I've been,
no creepy old men trying to
I'm sure there's a lot of creepy
finagle
old men,
with
yeah. I mean, just imagine when you're 13 when you had to get your first physical or whatever. I don't remember what age it was.
Oh yeah,
Could've even
Dr.
been
Clark just took a grab of those things down
Dr.
there.
Landis. Imagine a guy named Dr. Landis touching you. You know
Dr.
he's doing some.
Dr. Clark was a great man, but yeah, he just stuck him down there with very warm hands.
Yeah, Dr. Landis one time, he kind of twisted him around. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
If he wanted me to have problems, so I came back so he could touch him again, I don't really know.
yeah, it was weird.
Do you want to talk about this show?
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh fuck! I forgot. Okay, yeah.
R.I.P. Dr. Landis, by the way. I don't think he's dead. I just think he quit doctoring.
Really,
Where are we at?
I think Dr. Clark's still going. I saw him at the grocery store the other day. He said, "Hey, how's that cock?"
Dude, how awesome would that be if you saw your pediatrician like years later? He's like 75, you're like 35.
He's 75, so any doctor filter that he ever had, it went out the door, and he's just like in the bread aisle, and he's just like, "Remember when I touched your penis?"
He's like, how's that old mushroom tip doing? Has it gotten any bigger?
One of the smallest I've ever seen in my 60 years of doctoring.
He's like, you had some of the biggest testicles, but your wiener was just tiny. So the guy does have a technique called rot, which gives them black inked rose tattoos on their skin.
Exact, dude. My note exactly was Kugisaki essentially just has the same tattoo that every artsy 8th grade girl gave themselves in the middle of class.
And it looks good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It looks professionally done.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, when they do it, they spend their
they're-
time on it. They're very talented. But it's done with bald point pins.
Yeah.
Because you can't be using G2 pilots on that thing.
No,
That's
no.
going to scrape
No.
up the arm.
Yeah. I would love to. I want a tattoo, man. Let's get some TPCs.
Well, you've been saying it for about 3 years now, but you won't stop being a bitch and get one.
Well, You're also part of the TPC. Let's do it together.
I am, but you know the difference? I've never said I was getting one.
I'll pay if you get a TPC tattoo with me. I'll pay for yours.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna go over well.
He's like, I don't know. It might show up in the bath. When I'm taking a bath, I might see it. And it might just be like, oh, it's my skin. That's on there forever.
Their blood is absorbed through membranes, and then once activated, it attaches to the stem away.
You're missing out on baths, man.
10 to 15 minutes is about all the time that he estimates that they have left to live. And he calls it the decomposition technique. And I said, I believe you use that technique, Ronnie, after eating a few honey buns because I swear your intestines release the most foul toxin imaginable.
I believe you, brother. I am sorry for whatever whiff you catch when that's going down. When I'm in the honey bun zone. I don't like how he has a technique and what did you call this?
The decomposition technique.
And what was the rot thing? Was that also a technique?
Yeah, there's two.
What do you... Come on. Synonyms.
I know. I'm the same way. I thought the same thing, but I said it anyways.
I just, once again, I don't want to harp on it. Bad episode.
We get a flashback with a woman from a long time ago that bared the child of a cursed spirit. She fled with the corpse of the child once it was born because she told her family she didn't have, sexual intercourse to birth out this freaking little nugget. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, I didn't get porked or whatever.
I did not have sexual relations with that man.
Yep. And then apparently she did, but it was with a cursed man. So, well, I don't even know if she had sex with a cursed man, but somehow it was like...
No, I believe her, yes. She had some of that voodoo put into her,
yep.
to her body.
She fled to the temple to see a sorcerer. His name was Kamo Noritoshi, where he then impregnated her 9 times. So...
Yeah.
And then all 9 times he aborted the baby.
And it was 5 minutes in here when I was watching this woman I did not know, and they were talking about how she was impregnated 9 times, 9 abortions, that I was thinking, what am I watching? Is this really the finale? I mean, you should have seen my face. I feel like I was in such a pissy mood this morning. So glad that Travis didn't come and ask me a question, because I might have snapped at him.
All records of how he did it and what happened to her were destroyed. The cursed wombs, they were also destroyed. Or they don't know what happened to them. They were just gone. They called it the Death Paintings 1 through 3, and they became cursed objects powerful enough to be classified as a special grade. So 3 of the 9 were then... So they were all... No one knew what happened to them. Then 3 of the 9... turned into these things, which is, I don't know why only 3 out of the 9.
So 6 of the 9 were destroyed.
Well, they were either destroyed or just gone.
3 of them were become paintings.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even be surprised if 6 of the 9 were 6 of the 9. I wouldn't even be surprised if they
69.
If they show up in a later filler episode. They're like, oh, here's the other 6, and then they have to defeat those 2.
You think they just haven't painted those yet?
Yeah. Well, they're just waiting to fill in an episode,
What was the painting comments you made? They're called the what?
Death Paintings 1 through 3 is what they called it.
Hate that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't like that.
Like, what even is this episode? I thought it was a great episode until I just read that out.
Well, I'm glad I'm bringing you over to the dark side.
Well, I mean, there was a couple good moments, but that's about it.
Well, we haven't gotten to them yet.
They have no memories of what happened. These little guys, whatever. They've been sealed for 150 years, and they're 3 brothers.
Well, like, what are you even saying?
They live for one another, Ronnie. Come on. They all live for one another. There's a little scene here where they say they live for one another. They're fucking weird. These guys are weird, too. Okay. I don't know if every brothers back in 150 years ago were this weird. Mm-hmm. If that's just like an ancient, industrial revolution thing. I don't know. But
right.
Maybe.
Such a weird finale.
Dude, at one point I was like, do I really have to take notes over this? I was like, I hope Ronnie does.
I am so glad that I did not have to take this summary on this, because I was thinking, I was thinking at one point, I thought, if I had to take this summary, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. I was really questioning writing this down or just being like, there's 3 guys. I was about to just say there's 3 guys. But I was like, and you know what? I'm so dedicated to this podcast that I will not falter.
Yeah.
I will keep moving forward until I take all of the notes.
And to show my gratitude, the rest of this podcast, I will not, if you slip up on your notes, if you got a bad note, I will refrain from criticizing you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So you do understand the situation I'm in.
Today's the first day I understand the situation.
Okay. It's bad.
You think people are going to be mad at us? That,
I don't think so, because other than this episode, even the last one I enjoyed more than this one. This whole show has been good to me. Like, I've enjoyed it. And this episode, I still had moments I enjoyed, but a lot of it was just like, it was just unnecessary.
Okay.
So, we're not shitting on the
That's
show,
true.
right?
I think for this whole season, we've given it a fair shake.
Yeah. Besides that one episode of the...
I guess I just felt like we were building up to something the whole time, and then, like, I kept waiting for it, and then it just never came.
Building up for... What do you mean building up?
I guess I had heard going into it that there was some, like, before the end, not quite the end, that there were just amazing episodes. And while there were some enjoyable episodes for a while there, I couldn't pinpoint which ones people would have been talking about where I was like, oh, yeah, that's the one.
I think it's the one where they're fighting Hanami and Gojo. I think it's just Itadori versus Hanami. I think that's kind of what they're talking about. Which that makes more sense to me because Hanami has been built up as this bad.
Right, at least he was around for the whole season. Yeah, that was an enjoyable episode.
Coffee. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
I hate you so much. You look like you've got 5 different ticks.
What do you mean?
I mean, there have been pinkies, pointer fingers, middle finger, every single finger, every single phalange has gone into your ear holes at some point during this podcast.
It has.
The weirdest one was when I saw you put your thumb in there. I've never seen that before.
Did I do that?
I was like, that's too big to put a thumb in there.
Oh, I've fit thumbs into a lot of things, brother.
Do you need a Q-tip? Good Lord, what's going on?
Yeah, I just had to clean it out. All right, where were we at? They have been sealed.
We're talking about abortions.
Nobara pulls out an erotic, evil laugh that made my balls tingle a little bit, and she says that the worst... She says, I have the worst technique for you. Basically, I'm the worst matchup for you. Mm-hmm. Like, blah, 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 blah. She pulls out a nail and strikes her own arm.
Whew.
Which is pretty... Oh, it's so hot.
Well, you chill.
It's just...
Be careful.
Be honest. Is it
careful.
not?
No, it wasn't hot. I thought it was badass.
Hey, and badass equals hot.
Not all the time. Not when they're under the age of 18.
Well, I'm not buying it. I think she's old. She's been held back a few years.
All right, be careful.
I think I'll take my chances here. She uses the straw doll technique on her arm and says, let's play a game of chicken. Which I used to play a game. Speaking of a game of chicken, me and the homies back in like freshman year, we used to play a game of chicken to see if we would kiss one another.
Nice.
So we'd always, pucker up our lips and get as close as possible.
Right.
Never lost.
Never lost.
I did kiss a few men back then because we weren't going to lose the game.
There were some others that were just as dead set as you were on not being a chicken.
So a lot of times I did make some lip touches, but I don't want to lose. I'm a winner. So
no, I like that. I like that mentality. I like that mentality, and you love kissing dudes.
When women turn around and use your own game against you, like she's doing to this guy right here, like when I'm trying to play a chick, but she plays me right back and fucks my best friend, it's the hottest thing I can think of. I mean, it's... Woo!
Exactly. That's like when I'm eating a honey bun and then I see a female eat 2 honey buns.
Oh, yeah.
Game over!
Microwaves it an extra second. That's...
well, don't ruin the honey bun.
An extra second?
You moron.
Or less than a second. Which one?
Don't mess around with a honey bun, okay? Depending on the wattage, it's a 8 to 15 range, okay? Don't mess with the microwaving of the honey buns.
Okay. She explains her technique again, and the reason it works so well now is because the blood inside of her is strongly linking them and the rock technique together. Wow.
Of course. I knew that was happening before it happened.
Yuji then sneaks up because he can still move. You're not going to stop Yuji. He may be in a lot of pain. You ain't stopping this boy, okay? And he punches the shit out of Humpty Dumpty from behind.
And he fell off the wall.
That was good.
Thanks.
Why didn't I write that one? That was a good one. Yeah, I just love the two. And then they start teaming up. Okay, Nobara, she starts doing her techniques. He starts wailing away. I love this. This is what I liked about the episode.
This was the most badass part of the episode, yes.
This is kind of what I liked, is that they're now a team. Mm-hmm. This is forming the team that they should have been from the beginning. Now they're going to have chemistry.
Excellent analysis.
Future fights. Yeah. You know, they'll be a team working together. It's kind of like us with this podcast. We just go, we're so well together.
We play off of each other.
Yeah.
We finish each other.
We finish each other off all the time.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
You didn't. I could see you didn't want to finish that sentence.
If there's one thing that we do with this podcast, it's we don't walk away from it with blue balls. Okay.
Yep.
We get the job done.
So yeah, Yuji's taking the pain and he's just wailing away.
It's a game of chicken, if you will.
Humpty Dumpty is just getting his shit knocked in.
Keeps falling off the wall.
Yeah, he keeps falling off. Nobara's sleeve is completely off with her tattoos showing. And what a terrible sentence.
What was it?
It was, tattoos just does it for me. I couldn't even control myself watching this. And then I put, but she is, in parentheses, but she is a drawing.
Good Lord. I woke up just pissed off and you were... You had some wood, didn't you?
Humpty starts to die.
What is going on upstairs? I'm so confused. Sounds like Humpty Dumpty's having great falls up there.
Oh, God. Humpty starts to die. So the face back man lets go of the technique. He does it. I was kidding.
This episode is so bad.
I'm trying to get you fired up. I
could not pay attention to this episode, dude.
Hey, forget.
I was sitting. Dude, listen. I was sitting at my desk. It must have taken me 3 hours to get through these notes because I was watching 45 seconds and then playing a game of Splitgate. And then I'd be like, all right, back to this thing, and do another 45 seconds.
And so Yuji gets stronger because the technique is off. And then we get some grade A Mappa animation as Yuji and Nobara, they just go straight badass. Even more scenes. Nobara snaps her finger as Humpty sneaks up behind her, and then he explodes because he has nails inside of him. She does her classic technique.
Well, so it was like that was like a different... She made it seem like there was another move that we weren't aware of, where she could explode the nail or something, right?
Well, she used the nails on herself, so they obviously weren't going to explode. They were just hindering them. But then once she used the nails on them, then that was when she could explode them. So yes, correct. Thanks for paying attention to this episode.
I watched the episode. No one better tell me that I didn't watch the episode, because I did.
Then she says, your older brother will be doing you... Wait, your older brother will be joining you in a very menacingly sexy way.
What was going on in those notes?
And then when it doesn't vanish, she realizes it's not a curse but it has a physical body.
Whoa.
Whoa. Then all of a sudden, a truck man, okay, we got a truck man and a guy in the back of the truck going 85 miles an hour in a 35 mile per hour
Down
zone.
the middle of the road.
Down the middle of the road, and as they zoom by, of course, Faceback Man, none other than Faceback Man, hops onto the truck. So Yuji starts to run after him, and he's going about 70 miles per hour, and somehow he's catching the truck.
This was the... Once again, this episode couldn't do anything right for me. He got on the truck, and I thought, well, thank God, he's getting ready to murder this bad driver. And then he was friends with the driver. He wasn't really friends, but he was using him. He said,
Yeah, because there was a driver and then the guy in the back.
Yeah.
And he was using him. He's
And he
like,
was
I'll
like,
kill this guy.
yeah, keep your foot on the pedal, don't hit the brakes. I was like, oh, he's just using him as a getaway? I was like, so now you're telling me the first thing this guy needed was someone driving by in a truck going 85 miles per hour, and that's exactly what he got?
Yeah.
A little bit too big of a coincidence for me.
So, but as we know earlier, Yuji punched off the arm of Faceback Man, and it's laying on the ground. Nobara, thinking like just the badass bitch that she is, grabs her nail and sticks it into the arm and fucking uses her technique. Guy flies off the truck, and as he's flying off the truck, Yuji comes running up, uses his black fist, when we get a little flashback of Nanami, the best part of the episode.
Kinto Nanami.
As Nanami says, the adult of all adults, that talks about this.
I like how you didn't know how your notes were set up, so you said the adult of adults as if it was Nanami saying it.
Yeah. Temporarily entering what state athletes call the zone, is
zone.
what Itadori is entering right now, and just lets out the biggest black fist right in the torso of Faceback Man. He says sorry while he does it in slow motion, and he gets sad, of course, when it's like, dude, stop getting... This guy sucks.
He doesn't like kill. He doesn't like unnecessary death. Or what is it that he doesn't like? Pointless death.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants all deaths to have a reason. This one did.
This one did.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Shake it off.
We then head to Geto, Mahito, and the third brother playing Candyland. So this third brother doesn't give a fuck about his other two brothers, or he would be there.
Oh, this was the third brother. The guy that's got some serious bags under his eyes. He needs to get some sleep.
Chozo is his name, breaks the piece like a dickhead that he is. They got to go buy a whole nother set. They don't sell those separately.
This was bullshit. We all know it.
Mahito gets pissed. I'm glad Mahito gets pissed here. It's like, dude, what are you doing? And he says, my brothers have died. Like, you could just feel the connection.
It's like, oh, great. Did you snapping that vital piece make you feel better?
Yeah. Were you there for them? Oh, you're playing Candyland, and you decided to break a piece because it didn't go your way.
Oh, you're playing Monopoly, and you ripped off the handle of the iron game piece? How about that? How about you can be an iron in Monopoly?
As he's saying that, Geto gets a phone call, and he gets a report from someone that says that Yuji and his crew killed his brothers.
Oh, you flattened the fez in Monopoly? You stepped on the fez? What if I wanted to be the fez when I was playing Monopoly? Idiot.
Well, no one wants to be the Fez. Come on. And then we get a little flash of the pretty assistant still frantically driving around looking for the brats.
You ripped off the wheel of the wheelbarrow in the Monopoly game?
You literally just looked up Monopoly pieces. I
haven't yet. As you can see here, it's right now it's still on nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty lyrics.
Okay.
Because I was trying to go for a few more Humpty Dumpty jokes, couldn't fit them in there.
I'm glad you got the falling off the wall.
So far, all of those Monopoly game pieces have been off the top of my head. I did the joke 3 times. I don't think it needs to be done more. The other ones I remember are there's a little dog and the Monopoly hat.
The dog is just awesome. So Yuji and Nobara, they start talking as they're walking through the forest, heading back to Fushi, about killing people. And Yuji says he's now killed four times, 3 others in this one. And he asks Nobara how she feels that she just killed someone, and she says, it doesn't mean anything to me because sorcerers do these kinds of things, and those guys sucked. She then says that she wishes that she was more like Fushi when it came to these type of things, which is pretty cool because I think the same. I want to be like Fushi too. And then Yuji says that he felt bad because the guy that he killed cried when he saw his brother die, and so tears were shed over the lives that he killed tonight. And it's just like, did you see those guys?
Yes.
Come on. They find Fushi laying down.
How does this guy look just like a dude?
Who?
The other brother.
I don't know.
We have Scary Mouth, Ghostface, Humpty Dumpty. We have Backstreet, Back Tonight, oh yeah, Backface Man. And then there's this guy who just has some purple eyeshadow on.
Yeah, he looks like I saw a picture of like a Mappa animator or something that had like terrible bags under his eyes. And I think the joke was that he's like, they don't let him sleep. So they force him to work so hard. Really? Which I don't know. That might be true. I don't know. I think it's just a condition he has. But he looks just like that guy. And it's not hilarious because I'm sure he's a nice young gentleman that works hard. Right. But it's hilarious. So don't laugh.
So there's actually, this is a guy.
Oh, you want to see him?
Yeah, let's do this real time. It's good podcasting.
Let's do this. And if anybody hasn't seen this guy, look him up because it's pretty sad.
You think he got socked in the face 2 times and got some double black eyes? No? Oh, yeah, this is... See, I thought we could do this live, but I forgot that you can only do one thing at a time and you can't split your mind into 2 fragments.
Here you go.
Separate things. All right, let me see.
Doesn't look terrible here. There's a lot more scenes where it looks worse, but it still looks pretty bad.
All right, thank you for wasting my time with that.
You didn't like it?
No.
Why?
Didn't like it. It just looks like he's got like a little slightly puffy eyes.
No, this guy has terrible eyes.
Find a better picture then.
That's what I'm doing, brother.
If you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do this segment that I wanted you to do, I tried to support you. I wanted you to do it better. You know what that looks like? Like maybe he's slightly allergic to a bee, and
I just found this on the ground. It works.
Nice. He's finding Nick sticks on the ground.
What'd you just say?
You have 10 seconds. 9,
Fuck, dude.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everyone listening to this podcast, send in the pictures. I know you all have seen it, and show Ronnie how bad this guy's eyes are.
Turns out this guy really is actually pretty good looking, not that bad of a guy.
I said he was a sexy man.
And you were trying to, you know what you were doing? You were holding a memorial service for this guy. That's how much you were ripping on him, and it turns out it's not that bad.
I don't remember where I saw the picture. I saw one picture. It looked like shit. I was like, "Oh, that looks like Ronnie when he needs to take a bath."
You're the kind of guy that points and laughs, and it's like, "Oh, but wait, it's actually pretty serious. We shouldn't do." And then it's like, "Oh, wait, not that bad." You're making it bigger of a deal than it actually is.
They find Fushi laying down, still with his little phalange, and they start to do an anime clap when Fushi starts to get up. And they say, "Oh, we thought you were dead." And then I was like, "Oh, Ronnie's going to love this scene where they do the little, chi-cha."
Yeah, the clap was a little unnecessary.
And Fushi goes to
You know how much I would want to punch you if I was laying down and I got up and you were like...
Well, or how about if I clapped like they did? Where I do like a team, I like do a little hop and then I clap.
Honestly, that would actually really make me laugh if you and someone else did like a whole little high five routine just because I stood up.
That'd be pretty cool.
I stand corrected.
Fushi then says we need to get this phalange sealed as soon as possible. And then Yuji says, "What if I eat it?" And he goes, "No, we don't know your limit yet." And then he goes, "But I will let you hold on to it since I'm so injured." And as he hands him the phalange, Sukuna forms a mouth on Yuji's hand and slurps that bitch up.
This is like me in a golden corral. They're like, "Well, we don't know your limit yet." No.
And you eat it anyways.
Yeah.
It was pretty hilarious though, Sukuna doing this. I thought it was great humor by him. So then pretty assistant, PA, shows up losing her shit, unlike that bitch of an assistant, to the manager. But they don't really care that she's that angry because they accomplished their goal for tonight. Then we go to Gojo. He's talking about how they analyzed the corpses and realized that each one was about a special grade, and brags that, you know, his students killed this special grade. It must have been their teacher that really taught him this, even though all he's done is shown Yuji movies and like sparred a little bit with Fushi. I don't know how much he's actually taught them, but
Right.
the lady he's talking to on the phone then wants to drink with Gojo. Did you catch this here? Okay, and who is this lady, by the way?
The one he's on the phone with?
Yes.
That's Iori.
It is Iori. Okay,
Yeah.
she had a scar on her face. Has she always had that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pay attention.
I do pay attention.
Well, obviously not, because...
Okay, well, you know what? You didn't pay attention to the first half of this episode, so shut up.
Well, just pay attention. In my notes here, I even say shipping it because I think I like them together.
I do too, and I hope they get a few drinks together. It'd be cool to see them at a bar, you know, drinking a few beers. I'd like to see that. And then Gojo starts talking about one of his...
Would it be a better episode than this one?
It would. It really would. Gojo then starts talking about one of these students being a traitor and how he's not going to be happy if that happens. What student do you think it is?
Don't even... what do you mean? I've already fucking nailed this prediction. Keep doing your fucking notes.
What was your prediction? Fushi?
Nope, it's not a student.
Oh, it's Gojo?
It's getting ready to say it in your notes, but although you took bad notes, it fucking spells it out for you.
We get happy music and many things to look forward to. Fushi realizes that it's Yuji's fault. Obviously, that he ate the fingers and Sukuna, the reason the whole bridge thing happened. And he tells Nobara, he's like, don't tell Yuji this, because he doesn't want Yuji to be sad that it's his fault that these people died.
Yep.
Obviously. And she's like, I won't. She's like, you can trust me. Like, you don't trust me like that? Come on. You know I won't say anything. And then right when she says that, we go to Yuji, where Sukuna is telling Yuji that it's all his fault that these people died, which is so funny to me.
Right, just having a little chat on the side of his mouth.
So he does know now because Sukuna's telling him.
Right.
And he's like, so many people will die in the future because of you, because you lived too. So he's just making Yuji feel like absolute shit. And he just sounds super depressed, and he says, don't say that to Fushi, because he doesn't want Fushi to get upset. They then talk about the first years taking on special grades, and they all say that they can't fall behind. Wait, I missed a note. Sorry. We go to Panda. Panda!
Yeah.
He's kicking Maki's ass.
Well,
she can't even handle Panda, dude.
I don't know if that's
He's
true.
not even at full strength either. That's the funniest part about this. Panda's not even at full strength. And he's showing off his ass, too. He turns around, shows off his
That
little
was
behind.
funny. Yeah, I enjoyed that part. It made me laugh.
And then, so Panda is kicking Maki's ass and showing off his ass like a badass pandass, is what I said right here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a poet. You didn't even know it. They talk about the first years taking
Ruined
on
it.
special grades, and they all say that they can't fall behind, and they start to train even harder. And we go to Inumaki, who says kelp.
Thank you.
We then go to Toto and the other lady. What is her name?
The other lady
Mai?
is... Huh?
Miyamai?
May.
May, that's it, yeah. May. We go to Toto and May, who suggests that Maki, Panda, Fushi, Nobara, and his own brother Yuji Itadori should be named. They're requesting them to be named recommended first grade sorcerers.
Which seems quick. I mean, just...
It does, but they beat a special grade, Ronald.
The schooling system is bullshit. I've been saying it from episode
Well,
3.
if you think about it, it's word of mouth, and it's all suggestions, which is kind of like real world. Doesn't matter how good you are as long as you know people. That's how the school is.
You're not wrong there. I can't argue with that logic.
So then we get a shopping scene.
It's becoming clear that you did not take good enough notes.
What
to
part are you
rip
talking about?
They're talking about the traitor, blah, 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 blah. And then, I don't have the notes, but Gojo's wiring money to someone, and he's thinking like, oh, who's the traitor? We got to figure out which student's the traitor. and it goes to May,
Yeah.
who's getting the money, and she does what is so clearly an evil laugh. And who?
You thought that was evil?
Oh, she's the fucking traitor for sure.
Oh, I mean, I thought when it goes to May, I always thought she was kind of sketchy, but I thought she was just happy that she had money.
Oh my god. Hey, learn how to watch a TV show.
Well, dude, this episode sucks.
Throwback to a few episodes ago when I called this.
So you don't think there's a single... Wait, is she a student?
I don't know if she's a student. That's the thing. They think it's a student because they don't... What I think... There might be a student that's bad. I hope there is. That'd make it more interesting.
Because then May and Toto were together. Like, it made it seem like Toto was a sensei at this point. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Who knows with this episode? I hope there's a student too, but she is for sure shady as shit, very bad, sharing secrets.
I think she just likes money. But
Wish you took better notes.
I think she likes money. I think you're...
But also, I don't blame you for not taking good notes because it was not a good episode. They had lost you at this point.
Thank you.
But I'm actually kind of disappointed because I was really excited to gloat because
I don't even remember you saying... I don't think you said... I'm just kidding. I do remember you saying that when the whole training arc was... or the whole exchange event happened. You did say that about May.
And remember what I said? Do you remember? I talked about the crow cams and how they just magically went out.
Went
and
out.
They talked about how they had someone on the inside.
But here's the thing. You know what? It kind of makes me mad about it. It's almost too obvious that I don't think it's her.
Oh well, then really?
Not from the crow
I'm
cams.
not. Well, no. I'm not saying that there's a. You're talking about this episode.
No, not this episode. I'm talking about the crow cam one.
Oh no way! Did you say that? No, you didn't.
You said it, but it's almost too obvious. Like, how would Gojo not know? Oh, the crow cams magically go out. She's the one that controls them. Can't be her. Like,
well, it's her power. They don't know how her power works.
all I'm saying is Gojo needs to be a little smarter. I guess he is a little ditzy though. You are, so I guess that is.
Hey, it's a little ditzy, and you're making me mad for not giving me credit.
Well, it's pretty obvious. Even though I wasn't on my radar at all, Gojo should probably recognize this and be aware.
If he's that awesome, he doesn't seem that awesome. Whatever.
He might be aware.
You're right. He might be aware.
This might
he
be
might just not
the
be
long
saying it.
con, sending the money, setting her up.
Good point. You're completely right, Ronnie. I applaud you for your findings,
That's all I want.
even though it's pretty obvious. Fushi then answers a phone call as they're shopping, and it's from Gojo, and he needs them on a top secret mission where they all get excited except for Fushi, of course, who's playing Mr. Cool Guy. And as they're walking off, looking all badass and beautiful, they say, "Let's do this." And then it's over.
Yeah. And worst part of the episode, no Juju stroll.
That's what I said in all caps. Let's fucking go. No Juju stroll. That's how I ended it.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, well, this wasn't that good of an episode, but at least I have the Juju stroll to look forward to. And then they didn't do a Juju stroll, dude. All right. What did you think about this season as a whole?
I really liked this season as a whole. Besides, obviously, this last episode.
Rank it 1 through 10.
8.
Okay.
Now you rank it 1 through 10.
I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. Thank you for asking. Took you too long to ask.
I haven't been thinking about it, so that's kind of off the whim.
I was going to say 6 after this episode, 5.
Whoa.
What do you think about that?
It's pretty low. But our ranking systems might be a little bit different, too.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm definitely more critical, more of a critical thinker than you.
Well, you gave me, you know what? You gave me 5 seconds to rate this season, so I'd have to think about it a little bit more.
Well, I actually didn't give you a time limit at all, so you could have said, well, let me think about that for a second. What did you think? But like I said, you're not a critical thinker, so you didn't do that. Instead, you lashed out at me instead of...
Well, I give it an 8. I was going to give it an 8.2, but
okay,
this
so
episode
even
knocked it down
after the
0.3.
5 seconds, you've landed on the same 8.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Maybe 7.5 at the lowest, but I'm not going to go that low because don't want to do that.
All right.
I mean, this episode, I do want to lower it, but I'm not going to let this episode bring it down.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know.
What was the thing? Let's hear the thing.
No, we can.
I want to hear the thing.
There's no necessarily thing. I'm worried. I'm worried about this show.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't worried about this show until these last 2 episodes. That's what I loved. Like, even the exchange event, Gojo coming, all that happened, I was still really liking the show. And then these last 2, even the one before, kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, well, and I say I'm worried about the show for podcasting purposes. I'll be interested to see season 2 in a real talk moment right here. I don't know until this show starts upping the level. I don't see how we keep doing this episode by episode.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
And the only reason I say that is, for the most part, out of the 24 episodes, I don't know how many were part so much of a long running arc. There were a lot of Monster of the Week episodes. There's so many characters. There's very few that I would actually say are 100 like seriously developed. You know what I mean? Like, everyone kind of had their time to shine, but there's just so many at this point. And
you know what would really, the best thing that could happen for me next season is a main focus of, obviously I like our 3. Mm-hmm. I think they're good, but a main focus of Nanami as well, because I think Nanami is my favorite character in this show.
Nanami's definitely one of the more, obviously, I mean, adult of adults, serious characters. I could see the tone becoming more serious. I think whenever the Sukuna stuff starts playing out like long term, I could see if there's like a full on Sukuna arc, rather than there being him just always kind of in the background. That would make me more intrigued. Right now, it's kind of just very teasing you with it, and you're waiting for it to blow up. And
I also don't know how high how high the stakes could get in this show. Like, I don't know if even like a main character will die. You know,
that's the problem with all the sorcerer stuff, all the technique stuff. It's got a little bit of. It's like we like Attack on Titan because if someone gets their head chopped off, unless, there's some Titan stuff going on, they're fucking dead. Whereas this energy blast can happen and we don't know someone's really hurt until they say, oh, that person's actually really hurt, until they show it to us. So, I don't know. No regrets. That's just the Ronnie real talk, as I like to call it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I'd more so enjoy this show just watching it alone than actually covering it.
There was one. Yeah, I had fun. What'd you say? What'd you just say?
I said I more so just had fun watching the show more so than even, like, I liked covering some of the things, but like getting super in depth with it, I don't even think it's that necessary. Like, I just enjoyed.
No. And I think this is the kind of the turn we're going to start making when I was talking about episodes we'll do in the future. I think there's a good chance that for stuff that's more like this, we watch 12 episodes, half of it, then we come in and we talk about it as a whole. We talk about parts, talk about characters, rather than episode by episode, and try and find more. It's just got to be a really good. I think it's cool because I don't think it's a thing that a lot of people are doing with anime, where they break it down as much as us. That's why I think we have so much fun with Attack on Titan, because it's got the meat on the bones to do what we do with it. And we just got to find more animes. I mean, Attack on Titan's obviously 1 in a million, kind of, but more that have more things to delve into. Our friend Tony Roy on our Discord put it good. He said, JJK got rolled up in a lot of hype at release. The animation is incredible, obviously, but it didn't get him going so much, he says. And I think that we did it because a lot of people were saying... It was by far the most that people said, hey, do this one.
Yeah. And I agree with him on that. It's not even really more the storyline. The storyline is decent enough. The fight scenes are pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you just watch something, you're like, dang, that was very pleasant on the eyes. But then like you get 2 episodes like this where you're just like, I don't give a single fuck about either of these people. But like the fight scenes were really cool.
So we're not making any decisions right now. Everyone let us know what you thought about season 1 as a whole, what kind of coverage you'd like for it to get. If you'd like for it to be just like this, or if you think maybe us doing other shows and then maybe doing a large overall podcast on it. How you would feel about that. But for now, let's answer some questions.
Okie dokie.
Tom from London. He comes in and asks, what is your favorite Spider-Man animated series and Spider-Man movie?
So, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this.
Whoa.
I have not watched a Spider-Man animated series.
Okay, yeah, so you didn't have a childhood. That's fine. Mine is definitely, I got to agree with Tom from London here. He says the 1994 series, which is just, that's the one that I grew up watching. And I was definitely never super into the animated series, but I watched a lot just here and there.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen all of them or however many I see.
So my favorite Spider-Man film is the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, Green Goblin and all that. I loved that film.
That first one?
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite film. Obviously being a young scholar, young child.
That
too.
definitely was a film because it made the superhero movies. I mean, low-key started the whole serious superhero movie, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
I agree with you.
Obviously, the Batman movies kind of took it up a notch, but that first Spider-Man was the OG. I agree. I've seen that movie, I don't even know how many times. It's been with me through thick and thin. I will say, I do like Tom Holland as Spider-Man more than Tobey Maguire.
Yep. I would say for the people that say that Garfield is the best Spider-Man, just kind of grinds my gears. Because I feel like that's a consensus that even if he's not the least best one, I just feel like you can't put him as the best one. What do you think about that?
No, he's definitely not the best one. I do think that as Peter Parker, he did decent enough. Those movies, yeah. I've only seen those movies once or twice.
I didn't hate the movies. I definitely was like, oh, that wasn't bad.
Tobey Maguire, to me, I enjoy as Peter Parker Spider-Man 1 because I do like the movies, but now it's more for the memes than anything.
Yeah. Because when you're an 8-year-old kid, it's like the best thing ever. And when you're older, you're like, right. Oh, the memes.
I just can't not see any clip. Even, obviously, I say the memes. That's people automatically think the Spider-Man 3 stuff. There's really not any point you can show me him in any of those movies that I don't kind of giggle. It's just...
And then, but I 100% agree with you on Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. He was like made for that role.
Right. And I will even say, you don't know much about this, but I even have to kind of consider the PS4 Spider-Man game. The Peter Parker and that's also really good, and the Spider-Man story's dope as well. All right, what else we got here? Oh yes, our guy Zorlak. He wanted some Pistachio Man stories, and you told me earlier this week you could provide.
So yeah,
let me say from my side of the story right now. I just don't see him. I don't know if we've definitely said this to person. I don't know if we said it on the podcast. If someone were to come up to me and say, hey, if you could not even pinpoint his schedule, if you could write down his schedule, and we'll even give you some leeway, and you get anywhere close to right, we'll give you $2 million. I, for the life of me, could not come. I don't know when that guy's there and when he's not. It seems like I don't see him for 3 weeks, and then he just walks by, and he's wearing short shorts where I feel like if I looked down, I'd see a ball, one of his testes poking me, and just really too tight tank tops. I mean, they're too tight.
Way too tight.
Just a lot of skin.
And I'm not... anyone can wear tank tops. I love people that, let your skin out. It doesn't matter what you look like. I enjoy yourself. Enjoy your body. But when you're that age, it's almost a little... What do you call it? When you do it all the time, it's a little...
It doesn't affect me one way or the other. I see it, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't wish I would have seen that. But if that's what you're comfortable in, do it. But also, I'm going to talk about how it looks silly.
Yeah, it looks a little silly. That's what I was trying to say.
Because they're just too tight.
It's like getting an extra small shirt when you should be a large fit. And then thinking like, oh, well, I'm trying to show off my muscles or whatever.
Well, when you work at a company that has 300 people and you and your podcast host account for 2 of them, so there's 298 other people walking around, and there's only one of those people who wear shorts that aggressively short and tank top, your eye's going to be caught on them every single time. Like, you just can't help it, so you see it, and you're going to be like, there's Pistachio Man.
And you got to take a double look. He's one of the guys that you see, and you're like, I got to look one more time to make sure. You're like, is he really wearing that?
Right.
So you look one more time, you're like, yep, oh, that's him.
But you had a couple stories.
But anyways, the stories. So one of the young gentlemen that we work with, he was saying that, Pistachio Man had walked up to him and said that he was showing him his running route. So for one thing, I think we've talked about this. Pistachio Man runs a lot.
He runs a lot.
Which you wouldn't know by looking at him. But he does some pretty crazy runs. I know he's came up to me one time and been like, oh, that 10-mile run was a doozy.
Oh, yeah, he never... First of all, you can always tell that he's been on a run, but then he will go out of his way to say the miles.
Yeah.
You never see him, and it's always like... And he doesn't just say, just did a 10-mile run. He says, just finished a kick-ass 10-mile run.
Mm-hmm. And like one time he said to me, 23,000 steps so far today, and it was like 11 a.m. I was like, Jesus Christ. But... So this guy says that Pistachio Man came up to him and just put his phone right in front of his face. And he's like, whoa. And he like looked down, and it's his route that he ran, and it was about 9 or 10 miles. He's like, dang, that's pretty impressive. And he goes, yeah. And mind you, we have some wooded area around us. Mm-hmm. And there's no trails in these woods.
Nope.
It leads to like a pond, and then it goes off, close to the interstate.
It's literally a business complex.
There's no trails at all. It's literally just wooded areas with geese, squirrel. And he tells our coworker that he had ran all. She goes, yeah. So I ran all through these wooded areas right here, got all the way up here, ran across the interstate, and the young gentleman we work with was like, wait, you ran through the woods right here? And he's like, oh, yeah, I ran all through that. So he had run a couple miles through woods without any trails. So I don't know how he did it. He's probably getting hit in the face with briars.
Hit in the face with limbs, dodging like potholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have broke his ankle. Like, who even knows? It's just hilarious that he runs through wooded areas without trails.
It's the kind of guy this guy is.
And what was the other one?
Oh, he doesn't remember it. He didn't write it down. Good job.
Just tell me.
I don't know what it is, because I almost told you to write it down when you told me, but I said, guess what? I'm going to say it, and he's not going to do it. So, because he doesn't care about the podcast. So everyone say, hey, screw you, Chaz, for not caring about the listeners, and you had 2 stories, but you only gave 1. Great. Good work. Idiot.
Well, that's just an update on him. I'll give you the next one next time. I don't want to say 2 in one time.
That's all right. This has been an ample pod. Is that our word? Ample pod. This has been a good enough podcast. Apple. And by good enough, I mean it might be the worst podcast we've ever done. We were kind of negative, but we did it.
I have a shirt of Jujutsu Kaisen. It's not like I don't like the show, guys. I know Ronny is a mad hater of anime, and he probably hates it, but yeah.
I haven't told you this. I got screwed over.
What do you mean?
I ordered that same exact shirt you're wearing.
Yeah.
And it never came.
What do you mean? What do you mean it never came?
I mean that my bank account has anywhere from $25 to $30 less in it, and I have no shirt because it never came.
Why don't you file a claim?
I don't know how. Because here's what happened. All right.
Let's hear this.
I went to order it, okay, and for like food, like if I'm picking up food from Chipotle or whatever, I've got Apple Pay on my phone.
Okay.
And all you got to do is just like type in your passcode or whatever. Super easy. You don't have to put in your security code every time. So I was on the I'm calling them out. I'm not scared. The Uniqlo website. and I'm like making my order.
Wait, is this going to ruin our sponsorship?
And I'm like making my order. And all they do is, if they send me my shirt, we're fine. But at this point, it's been a month and a half, so I don't think I'm getting the shirt. So I'm going through the checkout process, and I'm waiting for them to be like, okay, register for an account. But I get all the way up to the end, they never do. And my phone prompts and says, oh, you can use Apple Pay right now. And kind of out of habit, I just put in my passcode. I was doing it at work. And as soon as I did it, I was like, well, wait. I was like, that does have my billing address. I guess they'll just send it there. I was like, obviously they wouldn't be accepting this form of payment if they're like, be like, hey, we don't know where to send it.
Yeah.
So I did it. And then it was like, all right, your email should have tracking information. That's what the website told me.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I've got an email connected to that. So I'm going to go look through my email. No email, no email. Of course, I go to my bank account. They had no problem taking my money. But,
See, that's why you try to get too fancy with it. You try to be too simplistic. And that's what happens, Ronnie. If you're like me, you just tell them your address, you get it 3 days from now.
It wasn't 3 days. I remember
God, I
you
love this
waiting
show.
for the...
The shirt.
Well, I know. Honestly, I was kind of like, even if I got the shirt...
You were very impartial to the shirt.
If I had gotten that shirt, we had talked about that shirt so much at that point that I had already decided I was going to return it and surprise you and get the Gojo shirt just so you could laugh, but then I never got the shirt, so...
Get wrecked. That's what you get for saying I'm going to return it. That's what you get, Ronnie.
You know, did it make a dent? No. I'm doing fine, all right? I'm just going to use some of the podcast money. I'm going to wait a few weeks, and then I'll just buy another shirt.
You could say if you didn't check the statements, you would have never known that money was even gone.
Exactly.
You got so much in there.
Exactly.
I see what you mean.
And I'm just an easygoing guy. You win some, you lose some. What can I say? But that's about it for us right now. The set in stone plans. We got to learn a little something next week. Taking 3 to 4 weeks off, and then we'll come back with either more, learn a little something. We might watch. I might watch some other shows, and we'll just come talk about them in a broad sense. But we're waiting, as of right now, something might change for Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan to come back.
Yeah,
those will have full coverage.
And I'm ready to amp it up, dude. Get stuff going. I'll be on a bender for this, and I know you are too. So,
and what is that?
I'm saying,
I'm giving. See, what's going on right here is I'm giving the people facts, information.
Well, here's what I want. I want to try.
I'm ready to go on a bender.
I want to try and set up a Patreon, get double episodes out, week early episodes, things of that nature, and really get it going. Mm-hmm. I know we were kind of ass rolling through Juju because you hated it, but I'm ready to get it rolling.
Well, we weren't ass rolling it. We posted an episode every week, sometimes 2 a week, so I don't know what that means. And you said this before. I said, yeah, sure, I'm game, but now what are we doing? What are we watching? You keep saying that, but you have to come up with what...
I have plenty of plans for us, Ronnie. I'm not going to spoil it.
Well, if you tell them, they can say, oh, yeah, we'd like to hear that.
All right,
it doesn't have to be... You're the type of guy... Listen, this is what we are. We keep it 100% real, Chaz. What we don't do... These are the things we don't do. We don't spend 10 minutes plugging our Twitter account stuff. We always try and do that stuff very quickly. And we're also... What we're definitely not is people that says... Big things coming down the pike.
Well, okay, you know what?
Big announcement coming soon, guys. Stay tuned. No,
I have to keep it vague. I have to keep it vague because I don't know what you're going to watch and what you're not going to watch. I wanted to do a segment on Demon Slayer, even the movie, but I don't know if you're going to watch it. So I can't just say that because then I have to get you to watch it. So that's why it's very vague.
But when you say it on the podcast, and first you're always already kind of putting me in a corner, right? And
okay,
I'm like,
so
okay.
yeah.
But then when listeners start saying, "Oh yeah, you guys should do that," I listen to that, or Ronnie should do that, then I'm really in a corner and I can't get out.
Okay, well we wanna try to cover the film, the season 1, the film, and we don't have to cover every episode or anything like that, but just a broad spectrum of it. Maybe even just do a big summary of the first season, and then a big summary of the film, because it's a great film, Ronnie, and I enjoyed it.
So, okay. Hold up. You said, I've got so many ideas. That was my fucking idea. I'm the one who told you that. And then you said,
No.
yes.
No way, Ronnie. I am a free man with free thoughts.
I hate you so much.
And there's other films I wanted to cover. I enjoy personally the Fate Stay Night series. I know it's probably going to be a little too much. You'd have to watch approximately 24 episodes and then the films after that. I would like to cover the films. There's 3 films.
Well, that's why we're taking
trilogy.
That's why.
But I'll throw out those ideas. I don't really know if that'll work out or not. We'll hear what they have to say. But I enjoy that series a lot. That's why I wouldn't mind covering it, or at least doing a summary.
Whatever we do at this point, that's why we're taking some time off. I'm going to have to watch some stuff to get caught up. There's a few things that we've watched, stuff that's not anime that we could talk about. We're just going to, we're in a free roam section of the Podcast Chronicles right now. It's a new era. So stay tuned, be talking with us. Chad's yawning too much and doesn't really know what he's thinking, so that's where we're going to cut it off here. Follow us on Twitter. Join the Discord, subscribe,
thumbs up.
We will talk with you next week, and then after that, a little while from now. But join the Discord. You can talk to us as much as you want. We'll be there. Peace.
Peace.